Well, good evening, everybody. This is Charlie, November Juliet, 7 Victor. And this is the All Portable Discussion Zone. It's a bi-weekly live stream all about amateur radio portable ops. And my name is Charlie. And so with us tonight, this evening, is our co-hosts. We have Dan, and we have Brian, W7JET. And then, of course, we have our guests tonight. There's quite a list we have. I'm pleased to introduce to you tonight's guests, which are, I'll just go in random order. We have Bob, K0NR, and Bob will be talking to us about the 14er event. We've got Matt, K0MOS, and he's going to be talking about the 10-10-10 challenge. We have Dan, NODET, and Dave is going to be talking about, not Dan, Dave, he's going to be talking about the 10-10 challenge as well, and just interjecting whatever else needs to be said. We have Mike, KN6EZE, and he is going to be talking about the Socal Sodafest. And then we have ATN, and he is going to be talking about the Pacific Northwest stuff going on. So, and of course, we have the regular characters in the chat room out there. Always a joy to have you as well. And so we're happy you could join us. And so let's get going here. Let's talk a little bit about everybody and what we've been up to the last couple of weeks, and just kind of get a little intro. So why don't we start with Brian?
Good afternoon, everybody. I've been pretty busy. We had lots of stuff going on locally with the club. As you guys know, I'm the VP there, so responsible for a bunch of different things. A lot of SOTA too as well. My new job, I overnight quite a bit, or not overnight, but I have long sits in areas that are great for doing SOTA around Arizona. So I've been on a couple of summits up in the Prescott area last few weeks. I've only been able to get one band in though, because it seems like every time I get about getting ready to switch, the afternoon thunderstorm decides that mountain is the one it's going to start grumbling at. So I got to bail out and go. So I think I did only 40 on Mingus last week, and this week I did only 20 on Spruce Mountain. Week before I was up in Payson, I think, and got 2 summits up there and actually hit my 2,000 points. So that was pretty cool. That's about it.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. The monsoons are interesting here in Arizona. Okay, Dan, go ahead.
Oh, hi everybody. Not a lot of SOTA stuff going on lately, but have had an opportunity to do quite a bit of chasing, which has been kind of fun and a little different for me. Looking forward to going out this weekend and actually being on a summit. So that'll be nice to get out and enjoy a summit for a change.
Okay, great. So then I went ahead and did a activation or two this just yesterday. There were some ones that I hadn't done before. It was a couples activation, a joint couples activation. So me and Sandy went with our friends Lisa and John, and operated from 3 different summits. It was a lot of fun, and so let's keep him busy chipping away at the next milestone, I guess. All right, so let's get to the guests now. Let's start with I don't know. Why don't we start with Matt? Why don't you go ahead, Matt?
Hey Charlie. Hey guys. Thanks for having me. Name is Matt, K0MOS, QTH, lovely Boulder, Colorado. And yeah, I had a few nice trips this spring, and just the last 2 weeks. 2 trips to Utah, couple of activations, one absolutely gorgeous one, Elephant Butte in Arches National Park, and the other one was a long time on my list in Europe, in Austria, Switzerland, at the border, called Cesa Plana. Finally, the weather cooperated, and it's in my log.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Nice. Thanks.
Awesome. All right, let's go to Bob now. Bob, K0NR.
Yeah, hi, everybody. We just got back from, Joyce and I got back from a trip to the San Juan Mountains. And it was kind of a combo, play around with the Jeep, do a little hiking, do some SOTA, do some POTA, Parks on the Air. I think we only did one SOTA activation, but we did a couple different parks and drove over a whole bunch of different mountain passes we had not seen before. So we had a lot of fun.
Cool. All right, now let's go to Dave.
Hey everyone, Dave and N0DET. Live here in Longmont, Colorado, and easy access to all the mountains around Estes Park. A lot of SOTA peaks there, and Rocky Mountain National Park as well. So I've really ramped up my activations since last fall. I never really did any winter sodas in the past, but I've done some, I think, every single week this year, and sometimes a couple of weeks. So getting more active and kind of refining my gear and my operations and so on. And of course, having a good time, right? That's why we're here.
For sure. Cool. All right. Next is Mike.
Hey, everybody. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been trying to squeeze in soda in between being a husband and a father. I've been doing a lot of desert summits as of late and doing some experimentation with some new portable solar options. So that's a lot of fun.
Okay, cool. And then ATN.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. ATN, K7ATN, based in Portland, Oregon, although don't really have a shack here at home. We've been entertaining family and friends, so not a lot. But one of the friends actually was Daryl, WW7D, association manager and a good friend up in Washington. We ended up doing 6 summits in and around Crater Lake National Park a couple weeks ago. It was a highlight, and I was at it again today.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I can't get out enough, can we? Awesome. All right. Well, so let's just get right into this. We have an exciting weekend coming up, and there is a lot of people are going to be out on Summit for various reasons. But let's go ahead and, I guess, let's go turn some time over to Matt, who is going to talk a little bit about the kind of the main reason I wanted to get everybody on and talk, and that's he can just talk about it. So let me just turn the time over to Matt, and he can take it away.
Okay, thanks, Charlie. I'm trying to share my screen for a few slides. That's me.
And let's see, there it is.
There we go. So it's called the 10-10-10 event here in Colorado SOTA Association, and I prepared 3 slides to talk about why, when, and what. And just to make it clear, there are 2 different events. The 14er event has nothing to do with the 10-10-10 event. 2 different events, just in the similar time continuum, and Bob is talking about the 14er event. So believe it or not, I'm trying to get to slide number 2. Here we go. So how it all started, as many of you know, that the Whiskey Zero Charlie SOTA Association celebrated the 10th anniversary in 2020, and like the Tokyo Olympic Games, it happens in 2021. So earlier this year, we had a Zoom meeting for kind of the whole SOTA organization here in Colorado, and I gauged the interest for an anniversary event, and it seemed that a lot of people were supportive of that, and we created a team, hashed out the details. Some of the team members are here. Bob is on the team, and Dave as well. And the event in a nutshell is we have an activator challenge, which is you have to activate 10K summits in 10 days. So the whole event lasts 10 days. And if you want to meet the challenge, you have to activate 10K summits. Easy enough. Chaser challenge, you have to chase at least 10 different qualifying summits, 10K or higher within the 10 days. And the event date, it starts on Saturday the 7th, midnight here in Colorado, lasts for 10 days. And the first 2 days, the weekend, overlaps with the 14er event. So if you go out for the 14er event, you automatically, if you go on a 10K summit, you already have summits for the 10-10-10 event. How do we do the ranking? After you submit your logs to the SOTA website for your regular SOTA points, you send them in to our chief spreadsheet officer, Jim, and via email. And you see the email on the screen, and you see all the information on the Whiskey Zero Charlie SOTA website. And he will post the daily results on the Colorado SOTA website. Ranking is, first criteria is the number of activated summits. And then we have several other, if there is a tie, we have several other criteria, number of QSOs, and I can't remember the third one. Dave, if you know it, please chime in. And we have a really, I think, great prizes. The top 3 in each category, so Chasers and Activators, will receive a photograph from Dan Oldfield. He is a photographer here in Colorado and also a new SOTA activator. And he created a nice, colorful Colorado collection. And, the first 3 of each category can pick their favorite print and blow it up to whatever they want to and autographed and all this stuff. So I'm really excited about that. I'm really looking forward to participating in this event. So I might catch one of these nice photos.
Yeah, for sure.
That's basically it in a nutshell.
Okay. Did you have can you show us that image?
Sure, I can try. Let's see. Here we go.
Oh, nice.
So that's Dan Oldfield's website, and that's the Colorful Colorado collection. And you have to go there and check it out. He took some amazing photos, and that's just a few. He also is into hummingbirds. I really love his hummingbird shots. So he might be willing to fork out one of those too.
Very good. All right, let's see. Any questions then from anybody? Looks like somebody's asking if that is the 10, 10, and 10 event, and Steve just answered that. It's the 10, 10, 10 event. Completely different from the others, right?
Yes and no. Yeah, it's organized. Yeah, it's completely different. Bob will talk about the 14 event. That's a regular event, happens for, I don't know, decades or two. The 10-10-10 event, first time ever, first in a decade, and the next one will happen in another decade, I guess.
Okay, very good. Cool. All right. So any questions then for the chat or anybody before we move on to Bob to talk about the next event that's going to be this same weekend, or for part of it anyway? If not, let's just turn it over to Bob then.
Okay, great. Hey, Matt, can you pull up those slides?
Give me a sec. There we go. Share.
Yeah, so we really have 2 things going on. They're overlap, but I think they're going to work really nicely together. In fact, I think we'll see what the Southern California story is. I think that overlaps pretty nicely too. Go to slide 2, please. Yeah, so this will help visualize it. We've got the Colorado 14er event on Saturday and Sunday, and really I should have drawn the 10-10-10 event as overlapped, but my drawing skills with PowerPoint are insufficient. So the idea is it's all happening the 7th and the 8th, and then the 10-10-10 thing continues all the way through the 16th. And so a really good chance to make a lot of SOTA contacts. I think we're going to see a lot of summit to summit stuff inside the state, and of course a lot of chasers from outside the state. Let's go to the next one. Can you go to slide 3, Matt?
I'm trying.
Okay.
Yep, I'm trying, but not succeeding.
Well, get it when you can. I'll
right. I pressed pretty much every button I have, so let's wait a few minutes.
So the 14er event started back in 1991. So we're actually at 30 years on that.
Wow.
I was kind of surprised. And it all just started with guys that like to climb the 14ers. You know, that's the 14,000 foot summits in Colorado. Sort of the official list says there's 54 of them. And so we just went out and talked to each other with radios. And And so then at some point, I think it was in the mid 2000s, like maybe 2006 or 7, we said, well, this soda thing is so strong. Let's just go all in on soda. And really the 14er event is now just a soda activity. And it's always the first full weekend in August. And that's the 7th and 8th this year. And I think, let's go to one more.
Can I just ask real quick while I have you here, Bob? So you said that the 14er event, it was not a soda event to begin with, and it's about 30 years old.
Yeah, 30 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it predates soda by a long shot. So whenever,
I just had to make sure I heard that right, and so then the last you kind of picked it up around 2000-ish sometime and made it a soda event. Okay, got it.
Yeah. And it's worked out really well. And the cool thing about Summits on the Air is there's such a strong program behind it, right? All the Soda Watch website, the Soda database, the scoring system. We weren't going to try and replicate all that. And so we said, let's just embrace it. And then the other thing it does for activators, it gives them a lot more choices on summits. In fact, I've been really telling people, look beyond the 14ers because what's been happening lately in Colorado is the 14ers can get really busy on the weekend. They've gotten very popular. So go someplace else. Go to a 13er or whatever. So the 14er event has always used any band, any mode. It does tend to have kind of a 2 meter FM bias because a lot of the guys, when it first started, it was all about just go hiking with your HT and maybe take a better antenna along. And we have switched frequencies this year for 2 meter FM. We said really wanted to line up with the North America Adventure frequency on 146.58, and then also use 5.5 and 4.9. That's consistent with the Colorado band plan. And then we do list 5.2. That's kind of the standard place people go for soda. The problem is on a weekend like the 14er weekend, if we all do that, it's just going to jam that frequency so badly. With all these mountaintop stations. So we're trying to, get people to move off that. At the same time, if you're in a remote area, you may need to call on 5.2 to raise anybody. So go ahead and use it, but try not to hog it. And then ham14er.org is our website for more information. And I think, Matt, if you can probably skip the next slide, maybe go to some of the pretty pictures. I was telling the guys, one of the good things about doing a soda presentation, you can do some really great shots from the mountaintops, right? So here's a bunch of Boy Scouts on top of Pikes Peak doing an activation. Let's go to the next one. There's David W0ADV on Mount Elbert a few years ago. That's me on Chief Mountain, not a 14er. And then me on South Peak, not a 14er, but a really nice view there. And then there's our buddy Steve, WG0AT on Mount Herman. Obviously not a 14er. That one's a little lower. My buddy Denny, KB9 DPF on Pikes Peak one year. Got really socked in. Lots of clouds. It's pretty darn cold up there. And then Brad, real active soda activator on Chavano a few years ago. There's Steve again, back on Mount Herman with one of his goats. And me on Mount Sneffels, that's a 14er. That's not during that is during the 14er event. Yeah, Joyce took that picture. Yeah. And I think there's maybe one more. There's my favorite hiking companion and spouse.
Yeah, Joyce.
Pikes Peak. That's the day she wrapped up her mountain goat score.
That's nice. That's awesome.
All VHF, UHF. No HF.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's awesome.
So, and then there's the calendar again to sort of drive that home.
Okay, cool. I had a couple questions for you, and you guys also in the room here, go ahead and if you have any questions as well, why don't you throw them up? So my question then is, how many 14ers are there in Colorado? Is there a lot? There's not many.
There's 54. Actually, there's some debate about what counts because it's just like soda. What what criteria do you use for a unique summit? But the general commonly accepted list is 54 14ers.
Okay. And some of them probably have never been done, or have they all?
Yeah, they definitely have not all been done for SOTA activations. Some of them actually don't qualify for SOTA peaks because of the different criteria on prominence, but most of them do.
Okay. All right. So before we move over to Mike and the other guys, Bob and Matt and Dave, thank you for presenting that and kind of clarifying. There's the 2 events. Do you have anything that you'd share with people who are outside of Colorado as far as how they would participate, what your expectations are, and how they might participate, and then also kind of talk about maybe how you guys there in Colorado coordinate everything? Do you have some sort of internal list, or how do you make it so it's a little bit more organized than just everybody jumping up, or is that how it is?
Well, from the 10-10-10 event, it's not organized at all. What people probably will do is when they put up a SOTA alert, they put 10-10-10 event in the comments so everybody knows they're participating in the event. That kind of is an indicator, for this event. Besides that, no, we try to keep our workload on the low end so we can all participate in the event. That's how we do the ranking via email, just the activators, and we extract the chasers out of the activators log. Makes it a lot easier.
So for the 14er event, we do ask people to sort of register. We're out on groups.io, and so we ask people, okay, let us know what summit you're going to be on, because we want to spread out, right? We don't want to show up at the same spot. And honestly, most people do that, but a lot of people are kind of like, well, I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna decide at the last minute, and they just kind of wing it. So you just never know who's going to show up where.
Yeah. So you use the SOTA website to kind of determine who's on what site then?
Oh, what the 14er event, we use groups.io, and we just have a little database there that lists all the different activations planned. But I think then for people outside of the state, or even inside the state, be using SOTA Watch as the place to really see what's going on, right? You see people putting out alerts before they activate, and then once they're on the air, of course, they're going to get spotted.
Yeah.
2 quick questions. For both of these particular events, do you guys anticipate a lot of out-of-state 2-meter contacts for the events? And then secondarily, for each event, do you think, what's the predominant mode that'll be used? Is it pretty much still going to be all CW ops, or a mix, or how will that, or will there be some SSB out there? Or?
Well, I expect the same distribution then for regular SOTA activations. So it's not going to be all CW, because I'm out there, and CW you don't want to listen to when it comes from my radio. So it will be SSB.
Yeah,
but
I think
the majority is CW.
For the first 2 days, for 7th and 8th, then you probably hear more 2-meter FM on the air that weekend, more than average. There'll be a lot of HF operators though too, and looked at the data in the past, they tend to go to 40 meters, 20 meters, 17, 30 meters if you're doing CW, that sort of thing.
It'd be pretty interesting to try and see if we can't get a few contacts out of Arizona into Colorado on 2 meters. That would be pretty interesting.
Yeah,
we're planning on being up on Towers Mountain that weekend.
Yeah,
we need a little enhancement, I think, to pull that off. My thrill last year was, see, what summit was I on? I don't remember. I was on a summit in Colorado, and I worked a guy in Utah that had climbed up to one of the, I think it was like a 12K peak in eastern Utah, and that's the first time I ever worked Utah during the 14er event on 2 meter FM.
Excellent.
Yeah, cool. Dave, anything else?
Wyoming is not hard to work from the Northern Rockies here in Colorado either. So That's almost routine. The mountains I hit up, but yeah, I expect, like Matt said, I imagine other than the first week of distribution, probably be about the same as usual with CW sideband spread across, and then of course you have your UHF pops as well. I plan to do a little of each, not sideband. I only do CW on the HF side, but certainly V and U probably more emphasized on the first weekend, obviously for me.
Yeah. I've got a number of guys that are going to do 1.2 gigahertz. I've been doing that, and I frankly haven't had a lot of other people join me, but it looks like this next weekend we've got maybe 5 or 6 summits will be on the air with 1.2 gig. There'll be some nice S2S, and so I'm hoping that's gonna play out nicely.
Cool. All right. Well, so any other questions before we go ahead and move on to Mike and hear about what's going on over there? Yeah, sounds good. Oh, so yeah, so it sounds like you guys got that all coordinated where most of the time you'll all be on separate peaks, but you may run into a few where you didn't know about this person or that person on the peak. But so that sounds fun. And so I'll be out in California with Mike. Tell us what's going on there.
Hey, everybody. Before I talk about the Sodafest, just wanted to thank some of the folks on the call today for the chases. It's always good to put a face to the call sign. So yeah, Socal-SOTA is the organization, our group, really informal, started in 2020, and we're the baby organization. So Bob had heard that you guys started in 1991. We're barely coming up on 2 years. And at the time, there was a few other SoCal people interested in starting a similar type of group. Southern California is kind of a unique place. There's a lot of active people, everything from surfing to to mountain climbing to hiking, just a lot of active people. And there's a huge interest, in hiking just in general. And that kind of goes right along with ham radio, I think, which is a great companion to hiking. That's really how I got into it. Short story is, I was going on a large hike up San Jacinto. So it was about 10,000 feet in gain and about 20 miles. So an all day sort of super hike. And my wife refused to let me go unless I had my amateur radio license. And the trip was only, 3 weeks away. So I crammed and took the exam, got everything done, and got it. At the time, I did not know what SOTA was. So I was just using the radio on the hike. And somebody about 50, 60 miles away answered my call and followed me up the mountain and was posting alerts on my blog and everything like that. And I thought, how cool is this? This is a really great tool to have out there. And, a few weeks later, I found out that there was something called Summits on the Air. And I first thought was, darn, I should have activated San Jacinto. That would have been pretty cool. But it sort of led into, going into more remote areas. I had communication now on my side. So, whenever anybody asks me how I got into SOTA and the SOTA addiction, I usually just say it was my wife got me into it. So you can blame everything on her. So yeah, SOTA, the Socal-SOTA organization or group, we started in 2020. And in that time, we've grown to 185 members. The past year and a half, lots of discussion, lots of momentum. And one of the great things I think coming out of it is doing what the 14ers are doing and what we're doing in Southern California, which is just getting people together who are hams on the same day to celebrate something that we all love. And the Sodafest, we're doing things a little different this year. As usual, it's an opportunity to get as many people up to the tops of summits as possible. But more than that, I think there's also an interest, as we're doing our hobby up on the summits, is to get as many people in the community interested in ham radio. I'm sure everybody here has had the occasional person come up to you and say, what are you doing with that, Yagi? And, you might respond as Chris N1CLC does. I'm tracking lions that escaped from the zoo, and kind of let them react to that, and then explain to them what you're actually doing, which is summits on the air and making radio contacts. And so I think personally, it's a great opportunity to get people interested in ham radio, especially out here for safety and just it's an amazing hobby. There's so much to it. The more people that we can turn on to the hobby, especially younger people, the better, because they will definitely make great use of it. So Sodafest is very similar to the 14ers event. Again, getting as many people up onto summits at the same time as possible and making tons of summit-to-summit contacts. I'm always hoping on actually getting one of the 14ers, and I think I'll have a pretty good chance this year because in addition to the summit-to-summit activity, we're also going to be doing a camp out in the beautiful Big Bear area, which has views of mountains, deserts, and oceans of Southern California. So it's just a great place to be, a great place to activate. And so that we're sort of hoping that camp out serves as the epicenter for the Sodafest, but you don't have to go to the camp out to participate in the event. We have folks all over the place who are going to be spread out, not just in Southern California, but Arizona and other places as well. So last thing I'll say about it is, we were, it was called the Socal Sodafest. This year, we're just opening it up and just calling it Sodafest. It's just that time, to get everybody out, do lots of summit to summit, and encouraging folks, if you're not in and or around the Big Bear area, to try to get together with other hams, and just meet people that you might have been on the air with. And so really happy to hear that, Charlie, you're making the trip here on over to SoCal to join us. We'll have a ton of fun out there.
Cool. Yeah, for sure.
Just a couple of quick questions there, Mike. Steve WG0AT had a question about if your wife has her license as well.
She indeed does have her license, and she got it shortly after mine once she realized that I could talk to her, but she couldn't talk back unless she had her license. And being a wife, she definitely wanted to talk to me, and so got her license pretty shortly after. Also, my eldest son ended up getting his license on the same day when he was 13. He's 14 now. And he is also a SOTA activator and will very likely be joining me at the camp out this year for the Sodafest.
Oh, great. And then another question I had was, since you spoke about the public aspect of it a little bit, and kind of a question kind of applies to, I guess, to all the different events. Are you guys preparing anything special for the public that you're going to hand out, or anything as far as what the event is and what SOTA means and things like that?
We're not at the moment. However, that topic has come up in conversation, and the idea was to have some sort of a like a QSL card for the public, or even just a general QSL card that we could use for SOTA that would have information on it. And someone sent an example of one of these cards, and it was really great. It said something like, sorry to disturb you up here on the summit. You may be wondering what I'm doing.
Yeah,
here's what
Steve.
it is. Steve, yeah. And
Yep.
and I thought that was an amazing idea. So we wanted to do something similar, create something custom for SoCal SOTA, which would be really great. We have sort of the graphical part of it, but not the layout. So we may be borrowing some of those ideas from Steve.
Yeah,
Great.
That's a great question. And Matt and Bob, do either of you do that? Are you have any plans similar to that?
Not
No,
for
it's
the
good.
event
It's a good idea.
specifically.
We're not doing anything this year, but it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think it is a good idea. We got to think about that here in Arizona as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions then from the chat, or here's one, I think.
There we go. From Paul, VK3HN. What's the breakdown of modes in use, and does it vary across the states? He says here in southeastern VK, there's been a definite migration from single sideband to CW, and I would say that's probably pretty true for here as well. But I'll let some of the more experienced operators take a stab at that.
Yeah. Anybody? What do you think, Bob?
I was going to say, I think the what happens is a lot of people that out doing SOTA figure out pretty quickly that sideband is a lot of work.
It is.
It's pulling in those 5 contacts, and especially when you activate with somebody else who does CW, even if it's not very good, you look at that guy and you're like, he just made 20 contacts in like 15 minutes, and I'm still trying to get number 3 on phone. And you kind of get pushed toward, okay, I think I can do this CW thing. I think I'm going to learn it. I'm going to get better at it. And then it takes time. And then over a while, you start getting over that fear and apprehension of not doing it well. And all of a sudden, you're running at 20 words a minute, and you're routinely running pileups on CW. And I think mostly that's what happens is people see the advantage of being the low power guy and being able to match up with a 100-watt station doing CW, and they move over in that direction. Then it's mostly just getting past that fear, and I think it's mainly the encouragement of everybody in this room, people like us that are doing it on a routine basis, and telling everybody else, hey, it's no big deal, man. They want to work you. It's not the other way around. You're the DX. They'll be patient. Just work. You just relax.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, just to go along with that, Brian, we've had a lot of people in the Socal SOTA group have similar type of experience where they're hearing about CW from other ops. They'll go up on a summit, try the FM, try the Yagi, nothing will work, and they'll go back to people, say, hey, what gives? And then usually the first suggestion is, hey, why don't you try the CW thing? There's reverse beacon, there's the ability for you to get your signal out really far, and eventually people just catch on. So we have a lot of younger new hams that just got their license that are now new CW operators, and it's great to see people sort of taking on that challenge.
Yeah, since I've started doing CW, I've never had a summit where I've not been able to get the required minimum 5. In fact, I've had as many as just on a single activation, just doing 2 bands, as much as 65, 66 contacts on between 40 and 20 meter CW. And it's gotten to the point now where I don't even really carry my 817 with me anymore. I use a small UKITS HB1B because first of all, I like the weight. And second of all, it does the job. I routinely have no problem activating, even on summits that are overloaded pretty bad with RF. The front end of the UKITS does remarkably well. The only time I usually run into problems with it is when I'm working with somebody on phone who's running like a KX2 or KX3 where they're running about 10 watts, then it'll get into the front end of the radio a little bit. But otherwise, I do pretty well with it.
As a CW operator, I follow certain blogs. People talk about, is CW dying out? Is Hammerdo dying out? These kind of things. And I would say SOTA has really promoted the use of Morse code. And I've had a number of people have come across QSL cards or correspondence. I met Jordan WC6J a long time ago, back when he was a sideband operator, and he's a mountain goat activator in Northern California. And I hear him now on CW. I work him all the time. So it's promoted CW as well.
Yeah.
And there's a comment right there. Said just that.
Yeah.
Yep. And then there's another one. Very
I
similar.
was glad that a lot of the CW ops took pity on my single sideband operation and contacted me anyways.
Yeah.
If they want your points, they get to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, guys, let's move on then. And so what we have the WØC or the Colorado 10-10-10 challenge we talked about earlier, August 7th through 16th. And then a separate event, but happening at the same time, is the Colorado 14er event, August 7th through 8th. And then we just heard from Mike. We have the Socal Sodafest, although he's calling it just the Sodafest, generally speaking, also August 7th and 8th. And now let's turn it over to Etienne and let him talk a little bit about what's going on in the Pacific Northwest.
Very good. Hey, thanks. It's Etienne, K7ATN, and boy, there's so many choices of things to present. And let's see if this actually works. Someone let me know if it shows up on the screen. No, I can see it on my screen. This is fantastic. I just have a few things to talk about what we've done around Summit to Summit events in the Pacific Northwest, and the event that is being planned by someone else. Thank you very much. To coincide with the 14er event, the Socal event. Yes, that's it. The Pacific Northwest, not quite 14er event. We have no 14ers. It's more like the 1400er. I think, for us. Let's see.
Mount Rainier.
Yes, thank you very much. That would do it. So I actually have a few pictures of our last Summit to Summit event in April. I tend to organize just one of these a year and let other people organize others. Here's KJ7 EHA on Larch Mountain. And we have N7 KOM on the catwalk for the Devil's Peak Lookout. We're really happy if we can pick a spring day like April when it's actually not raining. We had pretty good weather for this one.
Hey,
And here's
that
Britt.
last slide was Tim, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Tim, N7 KOM, is doing a lot of videos.
Oh my gosh,
he's out
Tim is
there,
amazing. Yeah, check out his YouTube channel. Tim is doing some really amazing videos, especially that one with the, what was that mountain? Which mountain was that with the snow and the?
The last one, it was fantastic. Yeah, I watched that recently.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
anyway,
he does a great job of this. And here's Britt, KJ7 RPL. And like you guys noticed, there's a lot of KJ7s out there, a lot of new folks. But here's some kind of a history of Summit to Summit events, 2014 through 2021. You know, we called it, the first one was the Urban Summit to Summit Party, then kind of a Willamette Valley. That's the area surrounding Portland and Vancouver, Washington. And you can see we had 13 activators on 10 summits, then 10 activators on 9, all the way up until, it's underneath here, I think we had 31 on 22 last April. Now, every one of these events actually had a directed net. I was the net director. Otherwise, the permutations you'd have to go through to let everyone work everyone else could take several hours. But if you actually manage it, you can get it down to about 90 minutes. We were a little short of that, even with 31 operators on 22 summits this last time. They have to do they have to do what I tell them. And in regards to Summit to Summit event on a broader scale, since about 2013 or so, Phil, NS7P, and I have been promoting that in the Northwest, let's make sure and get on August 7th and 8th, or that second full weekend in August, and work people in Colorado. There's indeed, as people have mentioned, not a lot of HF going on, but Phil in particular has made it his mission to set up on a summit, get there early, and work a bunch of people who are on summits usually on the HFCW. One of the fun ones here, the second to the bottom, 2020, was you've had Roland on your show, K7FOP. We gave him a surprise mountain goat summit to summit party. He did not know that I encouraged 11 activators to be on summits and give him summit to summit contacts for his mountain goat. That was a lot of fun and a nice surprise for Roland. Here is the results by Rachel K7NIT for our first urban summit to summit party, where she kept track of who worked who, and this really didn't make sense at the time, but wow, it can be really complicated to make sure everyone works everyone else. And when you have 31 people on summits, it gets quite hairy. Here is a view of the last party, and where you see a red print, a summit name, and an arrow. These are the summits that people occupied, although strangely enough, my summit is not on here, but that was Sheridan. Oh, wait, no, there it is, Sheridan Peak. All the way down to Mary's Peak here, the highest point in the Oregon Coast Range, up to Silver Star and Larch Mountain, and even in a city park with a playground, Prune Hill here. Skyline Ridge also is a city park with a playground. We're fortunate that we have that kind of diversity in summits. But what I'm going to talk about now, again, I help organize one event a year, and if someone else wants to do an event, I help them make it happen. So this is by Bill, K7WXW. He thought it would be sensible to have a Pacific Northwest, not quite 14er. I guess it could be the 1400er. And to coincide with the Socal and Colorado communities doing theirs an event, of course, why not? We'll do Whiskey 7 Whiskey, Whiskey 7 Oscar, as well as a summit party. He wants you to pick a hill, send him the information so he can keep track of it. But number one, I think for a lot of people, and you guys have mentioned it also, post an alert on SOTA Watch with your intentions, with, in the comment line, the 10-10-10 event, as Matt suggested, or whatever event it is, so people can connect. Oh, this person's going to be on that summit. They're going to be on this frequency. I'm going to be ready to work them. These kind of smaller, I'm hoping smaller, informal events. We don't need a directed net to keep it straight. The only thing I would encourage Bill to add to this is I think your guys in Colorado will be on pretty early to avoid thunderstorms. So we have to be in doubly early in order to make sure we have a chance to work you on HF. So that's a quick, that's what Charlie asked for, a quick view of what's going on with summit-to-summit parties in the Northwest. Our Northwest includes not just Oregon and Washington, although that's where most of the activity is, but Idaho, Montana, and British Columbia. Recently, there was a small, I think about maybe half a dozen operators getting on mountains with 2 meter FM in Idaho. That's a big deal for them to collect that many people at the same time on summits where they can work each other. And we try to encourage that kind of thing.
Yeah, cool. All right. Thank you, Etienne. Let's so for review, one more time, we've got, let me do it again. We got the 10-10, August 7th through 16th. Then we've got the 14er, 7th through 8th. We've got the Socal Fest, 7th through 8th. And we've got the Pacific Northwest, 7th through 8th. In Arizona, we're going to be up on a summit too. I know I am, and I'm going to. I post in the groups IO about this event, and we're going to encourage people to get out and participate as well. And I think that's the point. Whether or not you're in one of these areas where you're very organized or not. I mean, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, and Arizona. Even though we don't have an event right now, we are going to be out on summit in full force, doing the same thing, getting those summit to summit points. And but I just thought I wouldn't pass up the opportunity to mention that Arizona does our summit to summit event in October, the first week in October. And the reason we do that is because it's hotter than blue blazes here in Arizona. And also because of the monsoon, like the thunderstorms, that they're usually kind of tapering off by then. So that's when we like to do ours. It's a little different than these other events. I mean, you got the 14er. It's kind of, ours is 10-point peak, choose a 10-point peak, and then operate other 10-point peaks throughout wherever, mostly in just Arizona. And this has grown too to the point of about 30 to 40 participants as well. I can't remember exactly how many, but it's pretty large. We've gotten people from Washington who have participated, and like Josh W7UH. I wish I could bring up his picture. He's on top of a summit with with gloves with the holes in them and trying to shake as he's doing Morse code because it's cold up there in October, isn't it? So anyway, I just wanted to mention that. And then one more thing, if I can, this is my first time trying to share a screen. Let's see if it happens. We have out in the Georgia area, they don't necessarily do summit to summit events, although I heard from them when they said they're interested in maybe starting something like that, but they do the fall camp out. It's the WØC-SOTA fall camp out. So the South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee area, they do a fall and a spring camp out, and they post their information there on the Reflector. And then I don't know if Bob is still in the chat or not, AC1Z, but he was in the chat earlier, and he also was interested in maybe doing some sort of a summit to summit in Whiskey One land. So this concept is really catching on, and so. I think I'm really excited about what's coming up here this next weekend, going to California and going to participate with them. But I certainly could have done it here in Arizona, or as Steve says, I could have went over there to Colorado. I could, but my plans are already in place. So, all right, I think that's kind of where we were at as far as everybody kind of contributing and letting us know what's going on. So, any thoughts for wrap up, or just kind of overall concept thoughts that you might want to share with those who are still watching? Oh, there's Bob right there. Why don't I while you guys talk amongst yourselves for a minute, and let me see if I can bring Bob in. So
okay.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to the Arizona event. So I've missed it the last year. So I've still got to go out and see if there's what 10-point peaks are available yet. So it should be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of participation from out of state, so that's really great. It's a lot of fun, these events, to participate in them, whether you're on a mountain or if you're chasing. So it's all about making that contact.
Yeah, it's usually a zoo. A lot of fun.
So,
Yeah, I've never had a thought of like having a net control for some of that. I don't know how that would work for us here in Arizona, but I know on 2 meters it's absolute bedlam as soon as the event starts. Man, it's hard to figure out who's talking to who sometimes. So you never know.
yeah.
One thing that we did for last year's event that we're going to continue is having a designated party line frequency, which actually turned out pretty good. We didn't want to swamp 5.2, so we picked a simplex frequency, and it was just, if you're out there and you want to chat, tune in. And WA9STI and I got into a cool conversation, and a lot of other people tuned in just to say hi, and that was kind of a cool idea, because normally our contacts are pretty short, but the party line kind of allowed people to connect with each other and just kind of check in. So
yeah.
I noticed too, Mike, that a lot of the videos I see on SOTA for people around Socal, a lot of 2 meter contacts, which is really cool. Sometimes that's a little more difficult here in Arizona because the peaks are, a bit further apart. But that's really a good thing about California, is there's a lot of peaks that are relatively close together, and you can make a lot of good contacts. There's a lot of population centers that are right around them as well.
yeah, you'll have no trouble making contacts with a little HT overlooking the LA basin.
Yeah,
No
really
shortage.
Your challenge is going to be finding an open frequency sometimes, or someplace where you can actually make a contact. I had that experience on Tuckwitz when I was up there. So
Yeah, I remember.
yeah. So a question for the group here. We have about 10 minutes left, but so Pacific Northwest, Southern California, Arizona, Colorado, we obviously have all kinds of peaks up here over here in this side of the country. Also the Appalachians, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and up into New York and all that, they have them as well. But there's a big swath of country in the United States right in the middle who they may not even be able to participate, or even if they do, it might be just a selection of 1 or 2 peaks that they might be able to get on for 2 points or whatever. But what do you have to say about those guys, and should they participate still, or what do you think?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, more than
So how
that.
can they?
Well, jump on an airplane or drive your chalupa to Colorado and join us on a 14er.
I also, first thing that comes to mind is W0MNA and W0ERI from Kansas. Yeah. And I think they're probably more active in SOTA than even most SOTA guys, most SOTA people. So I would just encourage folks out there, if you're tuning in the bands that day, look for an activator. You'll, even on HF, CW, doesn't matter. You'll make a cool contact. And I always enjoy seeing where people are at, the cool spots that people visit, looking them up in the log, and just kind of like, wow, you were there, and I was sitting here all comfy. So,
especially nowadays, even if you're a Parks on the Air activator and you're out in a park this coming up weekend, man, get on the air, and we'd love to hear from you. So it's a lot of fun to make contacts from Arizona and Socal, Colorado, all the way out and across the country, all the way to the East Coast. Those are a lot of fun contacts right there.
Yeah, I was you read my mind, because that's what I was going to suggest too. If you don't have the mountain but you have the ability, go find a park and do parks, because then at least you're in like the spirit of the activity. You're out, you're portable, you're having a good time, you're using some some gear, however you choose to operate, something that commercially available, or something you threw together quick in the garage and threw up on a shade structure in a state park somewhere. Go out, have a blast, get involved, phone, CW, whatever works for you, whatever you have, and join the fun. I've done. So the POTA thing for me when I was still traveling for work was something I started to do just because a lot of times I'd be sitting somewhere, no summits nearby, but oh look, there's a state park. Let me go do that.
And I think the coming up weekend, I think it's Mike's turn to turn on the propagation switch bright and early. So there should be plenty of contacts to be made.
Get on that, Mike.
So mentioned W0MNA. So fun fact. So he's actually the top chaser for the W0C association. Being in Kansas, he doesn't have an association there, so he's registered as W0C, and of course W0ERI is right behind him. So those are our two top chasers.
I know they're the top chasers in my log too.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine too.
I'd
So
certainly
Bob's-
say. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd certainly say that every activator, every chaser is important to me, certainly. And I'll dig out every one that I can, and those I just can't copy. And usually the other guy's on a mountain if that's the case, QRP. But everyone is important. If you're sitting there, I'm not sure I'll bother. I don't know if I can speak for everyone, but me, I want to work you. I really do. And it's not so much about the numbers. I just like the diversity of the contacts and the stations. And I like to look later, and there's one of the sites will actually map your contacts, and you could see, here's me in the middle of the U.S., Colorado, roughly middle, and my contacts are all over the place, and a couple of DX ones, and every single one. I'd rather have 50-something contacts that day because I put a lot of work in getting up and down these mountains. The Colorado guys and the California guys, well, the Arizona guys too. Even we have some pretty rugged mountains to go up. Some of them are just 2-pointers, but to come back with a logbook full of contacts, I want to work every one if you can.
Yep. All right, guys, we got 3 minutes left, so let's do this. I keep hitting this, but let me just do it again, just so everybody knows. The 10-10-10 challenge, 7 through 16 August. It's different, but in conjunction with the Colorado 14er, 7th through the 8th as well. And we've got the Socal Sodafest, 7th through the 8th as well. We've got the Pacific Northwest Not Quite 14er, 7th through the 8th as well. The Arizona guys are going to be on Summit that weekend as well, but we also have our own 10-point Manus October 12th or October 2nd. And then the guys out east have their fall and spring things, so check the reflectors. And so I think that Etienne has one more thing to say.
Yeah, I keep waiting for that scroll to cover. It's the ARRL 222 and up VHF contest, UHF contest that same weekend.
Yes.
So if you're going to be on a summit, take 446 along because your handy-talkie probably does that.
Brian should have talked
maybe
about
make
that.
some people happy. And someone mentioned 1.2 gig. That would make someone happy to make a contact with on that band. Who knows what you turn up? You got an extra handy-talkie that does 222. You could take it along and see what happens. That might make some people happy who are working the contest. That could be fun.
900 is king that day. If you don't have anything below 1.2, you want to have 900 because that gives you the most points. I'm actually, Dan and I'll be up on Towers Mountain participating in the 222 and up contest this coming weekend. And if you have 900, make sure you got that with you. You'll definitely make somebody happy.
Yeah, the rules are a little weird, as always with ARRL, but read them and, make someone happy with some contacts. Know your 6-digit grid square in advance. That would help a lot.
That will help. Yeah, so I'm gonna apologize right now. We're gonna go over just a little bit. So those of you who are fans and support Jason's channel, Ham Radio 2.0, he's going live here in about 1 minute or less. So go ahead and check him out right now if you want. If you guys need to drop off, if not, if you can hang around probably another 5 minutes. Wanted to give Brian a chance to talk a little bit more about that contest, and then and then let Bob AC1Z have a minute. So let's go in that order, and then we'll drop off.
So yeah, the 222 and up contest is pretty fun. Unfortunately, the way the ARL's got it set up right now, they don't have a portable category. So if you're running QRP with handheld Yagis up on top of a mountain, you're also competing with some guy at home running a kilowatt with the 24-element beam because they only have one category for a single operator. So it's a little tough to be competitive if you're in an area with a lot of those people. I'm encouraging anybody that when they participate to make sure they put soapbox comments in telling everybody how this would be a great event for SOTA people and get more people involved, and that they should really add a portable category to it. 222, 440, 900, 1.2, all the way up into the gigahertz bands. 900 is if you don't have stuff above 1.2, 900 actually provides the most points if you are activating. The way the scoring goes is it's based off of your distance, and then there's a multiplier for the frequency. So when you work the grid, you want to have, it was pointed out earlier, your 6-digit grid, and It runs from 11 a.m. on, or excuse me, 1800 Zulu on Saturday, so 11 a.m. Arizona time Saturday to 1800 Zulu on Sunday. It's just a 24-hour contest, unlike the 2-meter contest and some of the other more traditional contests that start usually sometime Friday evening and run through late in the day on Sunday. But it's a good time, and it's a fairly under participated in contest. They don't go by states; they go by zone numbers. So if you look for the information on the ARL contest page, it does a really good job of explaining what you're entering as and how to set up your points. I highly recommend, if you can, do some type of computer logging, because figuring out your distance versus multipliers on paper, it would be a lot. So computer logging, a good program like N1MM will do all the work for you. All you got to do is throw in the grid square, the call sign, the band, and voila, everything is done.
Yeah, cool. And that, again, to reiterate, that's the same weekend too, right?
Yep, that is the same weekend.
Yep. All right. Well, so we have, let's see, where is he? Is he in there somewhere? Oh, he dropped out. Bob AC1Z was there, and then all of a sudden he's not anymore. Darn it. Well, let's just, I guess, wrap it up here then, since he dropped out. And let's go ahead and just everybody give final thoughts, and then we'll say sayonara. So I'll just say for myself, I think that there's an opportunity, if you have any opportunity to get out portable, SOTA, POTA, whatever it is, this is going to be an absolutely fantastic weekend to get contacts in your log. It's going to be really busy. It'll challenge you, because you'll have to figure out how to work around everybody and all the people that are on bands. So let's go ahead and then go down over to Matt.
Okay, thanks, Charlie. Yeah, if you still have questions about the 10-10-10 event or need some recommendations of nice summits, shoot me an email. Check out the Whiskey Zero Charlie-SOTA.org website. It has all the information about this event. And go out there, have fun, and stay safe.
Okay, and then let's go over to ATN.
Yeah, sure. If you want to look at what's happening here in the Northwest around these dates, August 7th and 8th, it's qrpdx.org that has a splash page that shows you what Bill WXW would like you to do to organize for it. There you go.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to try to grab that and put it in the link here in the comments before we go. So let's go to Dave.
Yeah, just look forward to a fun weekend, and following week, I'm actually taking time off from work to participate. So hopefully good weather, and everybody stay safe. I work in public safety communications, and none of us want to be on the receiving end of a rescue or make the paper headlines, especially with the word soda in it, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, Dan?
Yeah, it looks like this weekend is the weekend to be out and to get on a summit or chase from a park and just make a lot of contacts. There's a lot of people that'll be out on peaks and participating, so get on out there and give it a try. Look forward to talking to everybody.
Cool. Mike?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you, Charlie. I would just say to everybody, get out there, make connections, make contacts, and inspire people. And looking forward to meeting all the wonderful people that I've never met in person, including you, Charlie.
Cool. Brian?
I was gonna say, it was a great panel. I enjoyed getting to meet everybody and chatting it up. And it seems like we have a lot of people that were really interested in what's going on following the chat there, and looking forward to next time.
All right, you're going to wrap it up for us, Bob.
All right. Well, hey, Charlie, thanks for doing this. This was an excellent session. It's really cool to see all the different regions doing similar things, and, get off the sofa, turn on the radio, make some contacts, and maybe go to the top of a summit.
Yep. Okay. I guess that's it. Let's end broadcast then. Thanks again, everybody, for being here. If you guys want to hang around after, you can, or you can just drop off all the guests. But we're going to end stream now. So thanks, 73, everybody.